Former high school teacher Joseph Molineaux took a plea agreement in court and will serve a total of 6 months in jail for the charges from Virginia Beach. WTKR was there back in April when police got called after he showed up at Kempsville High School, the place where he used to work and the place where he had been told to stay away from.
Retired Virginia Beach gym teacher Joseph Molineaux was convicted last year of making threats and showing up at his former high school with a knife in his car. But he's now a free man. I'm John Sham. Welcome to True Crime 757, where we dig deeper into the stories we put on TV. Now, we have some news on this case that we covered on this podcast last year. Joseph Molineaux was arrested with weapons in his car on the grounds of Kempsville High School, where he used to be a gym teacher. He had been a gym teacher and an educator at several schools in the Virginia Beach system over the course of about 25 years. We've covered this story heavily. He was convicted of sending threats to members of his family in York County and of trespassing on the grounds of Kempsville High School. But we recently learned that he's now out of jail. So Margaret, what's going on with this case?
Yeah, we've been following this case for a long time. A lot of turns, different courthouses, and lots of different stuff. What we've learned, the Virginia Beach jail told me that he was released from their custody December 1st of 2025. And then his lawyer told me that he was released from York County on the charges he was facing there on December 22nd. So essentially, the lawyer says he's been out for several weeks now as a free man after all these charges and all the crimes and all the things that have happened.
So he was home by Christmas, basically. We have a good sense that he was out. He was arrested at the end of April. What were the sentences that he was convicted of? He had the two charges, the York County charges and the Virginia Beach charges. Several of the charges were either dropped or reduced. What did he actually get convicted of, and how long were those sentences?
Okay, so in Virginia Beach, we'll break it down for the different cities. In Virginia Beach, he got 5 years for making threats to the school, but 4.5 of those years are suspended. Now, for people that don't understand that, what it means is that he'll serve 6 months. If you come out and then you get in trouble again, you might have to go back and serve the entire sentence that you were given. So for that charge, he served 6 months for that. He also was sentenced to 12 months for the knife that they found in his car when he was trespassing at Kempsville, but all 12 of that is suspended. And he also, for the trespassing charge, got 12 months, but that's all suspended as well. So he got sentenced a bunch, but really only in Virginia Beach, he was only required to serve 6 months.
So why would that time have gotten suspended?
That's just what the judge has determined. There was a plea agreement with them with when they went into this, and then the judge makes the determination. He was locked up since all this went on in April. So he gets credit for all the time that he served already.
And then what about York County? What happened in York County?
Yeah, so in York County, he sent violent threats to family members. In court, they said it was his mother, his sister, his brother-in-law. He got arrested. He was sentenced to 15 years in prison, but most of that was suspended, 14 and a half years suspended for that. So he only was really required to serve 6 months in York County for those charges. Now, he's on probation when he comes out. If he gets in trouble again, or if some issue happens, he could have to go back and then serve all of this time. So there's a lot of time that he could be facing if he gets in trouble again.
Your world changed in seconds, not by choice. But now you get to choose who fights for you. At Kempsville Law, we don't just handle cases like the other firms. We go to war to get our clients paid for their injuries. Personal injury, real people, real stakes. Let us carry the weight. Free consultation, fierce representation. Kempsville Law, because this fight is personal.
So you've talked to Molineaux's lawyer. You actually know Molineaux's attorney pretty well. You've talked to him on a lot of stories. What did he tell you about this case?
Yeah, we've interviewed Sonny Stallings several times. He was representing Molineaux. I have a quote from him saying, with the issue in Virginia Beach, he told me, Sonny said, they told him to stay away.
And he didn't get the message. That's why he got the trespass charge. The weapon was just some knives he had in his truck when the police came. I think what generated the concern was the text to his mother's.
So that's what he said. He has told me that he was getting treatment, mental health treatment, that he is getting substance abuse treatment, that he doesn't want any problems with anybody. He's learned his lesson and wants to stay out of trouble. That's what Sonny has said when we've interviewed him coming out of the courthouses on the various different, I interviewed him in York County and in Virginia Beach when Joseph had to go in front of the judge.
So there were other charges that were dropped in this case. They were related to what authorities thought were child pornography that were found in his home when they did a search after he made the violent threats. They did find, I believe, AK-47s in his house that were confiscated as a part of this conviction. What happened to the charges related to the child pornography?
Yeah, so in court in Virginia Beach, we learned that initially when they did the search of the home, they thought that they had found child pornography, but when all of this unfolded in the courthouse, it came out that they said that they were women in the pornography that was found dressed up as younger girls or as girls. So when they initially looked at it, they charged him with child pornography. When it went in front of the judge, those charges were null pros, meaning basically that they're dismissed, but could be brought up again at a later time. So those charges, he was not found responsible for anything like that.
So basically, Molineaux only served about 8 months for the crimes he was convicted of. And you talked to the Commonwealth's attorney's office after he got out. What did they tell you about this?
They told me when it's a misdemeanor and the offender is on good behavior, they only have to serve half of the time in certain cases. Now, it's not for everything, because certain charges you have to serve a mandatory minimum. But for other charges, if the offender's on good behavior, that time will get cut in half. So if it's a misdemeanor charge, so that is the reasoning they gave me for him getting out earlier, and then him also serving the time that he's already served since he's been locked up since April when all of this started.
So basically, he got about a year of actual sentence, and that year, because of his good behavior, was cut back, and he served about 8 months. And
right.
So as of December 22nd, we believe that he's been out. What happens next?
He's on probation. He is he's been ordered to hand over that AK-47 they found at his house.
The AK-47 they found in his home, he agreed to turn it in, and they've already got it. It's confiscated. As a convicted felon, he can't have firearms anyway, so that's no problem. He doesn't need firearms, and he won't have any.
He has to regularly check in. His lawyer says that he wants to stay out of trouble. He's not looking for any more problems, and that he will continue to be monitored by the state and then have to undergo special mental health examination treatment, substance abuse treatment, and things like that. So that's the latest that we know right now, but he is free and he's out of jail. I did try to reach out to him directly. I haven't heard anything, but I have been in contact with his attorney.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming on the podcast to talk about this update in the case. And if there are any more updates, we'll be sure to bring them here to you on air and online and on our podcast, True Crime 757. So thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.